project coordinators. The local civil society PAR enabling small grant facility of the Weber 2.0 project will be implemented in the period of January 2021 till January 2022. Total sum of 225,000 euros will be allocated to support up to 30 grants on 6 Western Balkans countries. So firstly, I'm going to do a short presentation about Weber 2.0. Weber 2.0 project goal is to enhance CSO engagement in PAR monitoring by advancing evidence-based monitoring of PAR in line with EU requirements. It is based on Sigma OECD principles. It will also strengthen CSO government dialogue at the regional, national, and local levels based on the established Weber platform, which will be further enhanced, particularly by introducing online consultations. Weber 2.0 is aiming to improve CSO capacities to engage in PAR and to ensure their constructive relationships with the governments through joint training on citizen consultations, addressing the challenge of bringing the administration closer to citizens. Weber 2.0 is implemented by Think for Europe Network 10, composed of EU policy-oriented think tanks in Western Balkans. From Kosovo, GLPS is the one who's implementing it, and we have our colleagues from Serbia who are project coordinators, and the other partners are from Macedonia AP, IDM from Albania, FBI from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the Institute Alternativa from Montenegro. Before we start with the information from our proposal, I want to highlight that the most important that we will do a round of Q&A, so questions and answers, but feel free to interact during the presentation as well. I also want to note that we will be going through the pre-award procedures and not post-award. Post-award procedures that will be discussed at a separate dedicated workshop after the evaluation process and selection of grantees. I want to share with you the call for proposals. If you have any questions till now, please let me know. Your call for proposals. So as I explained, Weber means Western Balkan Civil Society Empowerment for Reform Public Administration, which is a 3-year project funded by the European Union, who is represented by the European Commission. So here are the list of the organizations I already mentioned. The overall goal of Weber 2.0 project is to further empower CSOs in the Western Balkans to engage and design the implementation of PAR in line with the requirements of the EU accession process. So the specific objectives of Weber 2.0 are strengthening civil society monitoring and also advocacy in PAR area based on evidence and analysis produced by the CSO. Develop and pilot CSO-led instrument to monitor the mainstreaming of PAR within the prioritized sectoral policies, lead an effective regional and national level government CSO policy dialogue on PAR, and strengthen engagement of grassroots and other local CSOs in local level PAR for which this instrument of small grant facility is used. The overall goal of the small grant facility CGF corresponds to specific objective 4 of the project. So strengthening the engagement of grassroots and other local CSO. As I mentioned, a total sum of 225,000 euro is allocated for the CGF to support up to 30 grants, which will be disseminated through our Western Balkan countries. The approximate value of the grant will be 7,500 euros. So in Kosovo, there will be 4 grants awarded. Duration of the awarded grant is between minimum 6 months to up to maximum of 12 months, depending on the activities. Now I want to have your attention in the eligibility criteria. In order to be eligible for a grant, the applicant shall be a legal person, a non-profit making organization, a civil society organization or grassroots, which can demonstrate that its work has been focused on a territory of one or several local self-government units, rather than on central level government or country level initiatives within the project. Civil society organization or grassroots working on one or more thematic areas of relevance to this call for proposals. The applicant shall be registered in one of the project countries: Serbia, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Kosovo. But the ones that will apply to Kosovo will certainly should be registered in Kosovo. The organization should be founded at least 6 months before the announcement of this call, and should be directly responsible for the preparation and management of this application, not acting as an intermediary. The organization should have appropriate organizational and financial capacity. Now, if you have any question on this, feel free to interact.
Sorry, I have one question.
Yes.
Regards from Gražnica, from CPT. The question regarding to register in one of the project countries. So how we need to register ourselves?
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
One of the criteria is to be registered is one of the project countries. So how we need to register ourselves?
You need to be registered only in Kosovo, right?
Yes.
Okay. Operate, okay. Yeah, but they did it like in a more general way. Am I clear?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Emma, can you please switch on your microphone? We don't hear
Yes.
anything.
Is it okay?
Now it's okay, but
okay.
It wasn't.
Yeah, we hear.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. I will go again. So each country had the responsibility to set its priorities based on PAR principles. Priorities for applicants from Kosovo will be 4. Priority 1, accountability, the right to information and access to public documents. Priority 2, transparency of the management of public finances. Priority 3, transparency of Kosovo's governmental bodies and local bodies, meaning municipalities, in the decision-making process. And priority 4, service delivery, orientation of the local administration to the policies and mechanism of providing services to the citizens. So each applicant should focus its proposal in one of these priorities. The principles of public administrations, as I mentioned, has been developed by Sigma OECD in close cooperation with the European Commission to define detailed requirements for a well-functioning public administration in 6 core areas. The strategic framework for PAR, policy development and coordination, public service and human resource management, accountability, service delivery, and public financial management. Here we set the sources where you can learn more about the principles of public administration, the PAR monitor methodology, and the principles explained one by one. If we have any question in this, I'm more than open to accept them, or we can move on to the eligible activities. Okay. The eligible activities. The potential applicants are advised to consider the following activities when preparing their project proposal. This list is not an exhaustive one, as it's mentioned. It has to do with research and analytical activities, monitoring reports production, local level citizen consultation events. This is mandatory. So every call for every proposal should involve an activity which has to do with local level citizen consultation events. The other one is citizen engagement animation on PAR, animating citizens to take part in the regional online citizen campaign. This is as well as mandatory. Filming of personal stories on PAR as raw material for production of videos. And the last one is communication activities, including cooperation with the local media. Sorry, we had an internet problem. So the proposal can include monitoring performance and results of municipal and city administration body, processing and analysis of data for the purposes of data visualization in a citizen-friendly way. The grantees will be supported by the researchers of the project, which is a separate line, which will be introduced in Annex 2 of the project later on. In line with the objective of the small grant facility, grassroots and other local CSO further supported to engage in PAR and local level and engage citizens in PAR. Special attention should be given to engaging local citizens in PAR through implementation of local level citizen consultations event. So please keep this in mind, that this activity is mandatory and should be included in all of your proposals. In the call of proposals, there are also two sources that you can use. The applicants should clearly state in the applications form the kind of activities they apply for in order to justify the proposed budget annex. Please note that the implementation of local citizens consultation is a must and it should be included in the Annex 2 of the budget. The allocation is local level, covering one or more municipalities per country. And the final results of the small grant facility will be presented at the third Citizen First Regional Conference in Belgrade and published at the Par Monitor website. I want to let you know that our first Citizens First Conference will be held in February 2021, but we will have the save the dates later on. Now, if we do not have any questions, I will start with what is not eligible for financial support. Okay. The following types of projects are not eligible for financial support. Projects concerned only or mainly with individual sponsorship for participation in workshops, seminars, conferences, and congresses. Projects concerned only or mainly with individual scholarships or for training courses. So it can be training, but it cannot be mainly or only in that. Projects concerned only or mainly with one-off conferences and similar events. Projects concerned with only or mainly with academic research or feasibility studies, with infrastructure investment or procurement of equipment. Projects linked to political parties or of political partisan nature, so any kind of political affiliation. Projects that fall with general activities or competent state institutions or state administration services, including local government. Credits to third parties, debts and debt service charges, so interest. Provisions for losses or potential future liabilities. And the last one, items already financed in another framework. So these project activities are not eligible for support. You see that there are 5 of them who can be supported, but not only or mainly. Submission of the application. Proposals in local language will be accepted. In our case, Kosovo's case, applications in Albanian and English will be accepted. Due to international composition of our evaluation committee, Annex 3, which will be introduced after this call for proposal, should be filled out only in English. Applicants should submit the following documents, which you can find in our Par Monitor website. They can be downloaded in our local language, so Albanian, and also in English. Completed application form, Annex 1, completed proposed budget in Excel, Annex 2, summary of the project in English language, Annex 3, proof of registration from the competent national body, so proof of registration of the organization, CV of the 3 of key proposed members of the project implementation team, or the 3 most relevant organization references to the application. So you could do either of these or both of them. It depends on you. The project will retain all materials and documents submitted by applicants. It will not use this information for purposes other than proposal review and will not share it with other person. except when required by law by the European Commission. Applicants should submit their proposal and required documents via email to the emails you see here, weber.grants@thinkforeurope.org, and you have to CC our project and grant manager, Jovana Knezovic. Subject of the email is CVP, Weber G02. You have to write the country in the brackets and the application. Application form, as I mentioned, is available at our website, our monitor. Alternatively, if you cannot download our application form or any of the annexes, please feel free to contact our project and grant manager. The deadline for submitting the application is the 1st of November 2020. We will send confirmation emails when we receive your application, but the clarification questions regarding the call for proposal, the annexes, so the call in its entirety should be sent no later than 1st of October to the email weber.grants@thinkforeurope.org. The subject of the email should be CFF Weber 02, name of the country, with the subject clarification questions. Our project and grant manager will publish all the questions with the answer she receives no later than 15th of October 2020. Do we have any question on this part before we move on to evaluation criteria? So the methodology for evaluation of the applicant. First is the administrative check. The deadline, we will check if the application is submitted according to the given deadline. If the application is has completed all its annexes. If the organization meets the formal requirements for participation in this call. If all previous answers are yes, the application is submitted for evaluation. So evaluation of the complete application is the second phase. The proposed project provides mutual consistency. The relationship between the objectives, results, and proposed activities is visible and clear. This has 15 points of total. The problem that the project proposal addresses is clearly and accurately described. The aim of the project is set up clearly and meets the specific objectives of the Weber 2.0 project. This has also a total of 15 points. The proposed project clearly described the proposed local citizen consultations activity. This has 15 points as well, and I would like to note it again that please, while drafting your proposal, please include local citizens consultations activities since this is mandatory. The activities are accurately and successfully set up and match the time frame, so from 6 months up to 12 months, 1 year, which is the maximum. This has 10 points. The budget should match the proposed activities. The proposed costs are realistic and have a sound financial management. This has a total of 10 points as well. When we continue to Annex 2, we have some rules which are in sheet 2 and will be further explained. Feasibility and sustainability, so the prospects for maintaining or upscaling project results. This has a total of 5 points. The organization has a track record of success in the implementation of projects in the field of public administration reform. So if the organization had previously implemented projects in the field of public administration reform, 5 points will be awarded. So this second phase has a total of 75 points. Decision for grant award is the third phase. A selection committee requires submission of additional information by the CSO. And after undergoing the evaluation, the selection committee decides to the grant award and proposes to conclude an agreement. The selection for each country will be done by an internationally composed selection committee comprising the project and grant manager, coming from our project coordinator, SAP, and 2 representatives of the respective countries implementing organization. The selection committee will draw up a list of ranked projects, including a reserve list. So if one of our awarded grantees backs down, we have our reserve list. But only selected grantees will be invited to discuss the project applications, and our final list will be published at our website. Do we have any question on this? Okay. Implementation of grants. The exact amount of each individual grant will be determined based on the proposed budget and taking into account the principles of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. The selection committee, you should be aware that may produce budget reductions and modifications, as a result of which the total budget of the project cannot be asked to be increased. So the maximum grant amount for one supported project will be 8,000 euro, approximately 7,500 euros. At the initial capacity building workshop, grant recipients will be received the guidelines for implementation of the grant, so project management, including financial and operational aspects, feasibility of EU-funded action and mentorship program and plans. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know about this phase, since today we are only talking about pre-award procedures. So we will move, if we do not have any questions for the call for proposal, I want to remind you again that the deadline is the 1st of November, and you can send questions to our grant manager till the 1st of October. So if we do not have any questions on the call for proposals, we can continue to Annex 1. Okay. So Annex 1, Annex 1 contains the basic information, name of the organization, address, phone number, email, web page, contact person, and the position, email of the contact person, and of course the phone number. Here you should provide the summary of the project, which should not be longer than 1 page, starting from the title, duration, goal, target group, scope. In here you have to specify whether it refers to a specific municipality or several municipalities. As I mentioned, you can draft your proposal and target one municipality or several ones. Main activities and results should be described as well, and the total budget in euro. Project description. You have to give the background, where you should do a description and analysis of the problem that will be addressed within the project based on the 4 thematic priorities of Kosovo. The project must address the activities for monitoring one or more principles of public administration that correspond to the chosen thematic priority. You have the maximum of 300 words. The goal should apply to specific desired improvements or changes that need to be achieved by the project and to be clear, measurable, and realistic. This should be explained in 1 sentence. Expected results. So you have to indicate the project results in 150 words. Activities. Please describe your activities and give a rather descriptive background on the activities, where you share your key activities of the project and explain how they are relevant to your target group. This should be a maximum of 1,000 words. Please be sure to maintain and keep this criteria. Here is the table of activities where you have the month, implementing body, it depending on project director or researcher, or if you want to divide them into 2 different kinds of positions, researcher and project director. And the budget. We have the budget as Annex 2, which we will present after presenting this annex. Capacity of the organization, short description of the organization's current capacity. So the organization's mission, the main areas of action, role of the organization. You should describe the level of cooperation and your network channel, and indicate your current number of staff, volunteers, and members. And please specify your budget for 2019 and 2018. Now we continue to the completed projects. So you have to list up to 5 implemented projects by your organization related to the public administration reform. Then governance and management structure of the organization. And also additional information in this section, please share something that is important to you and was not referred to the ones that we already explained and not given. Sorry, internet problems again. We will be sharing with you now Annex 2, which is the budget. So here is the template in order for you to draft your budget. You have the regulated budget items. Unit, quantity, amount, and sum. I'm not gonna go explaining each of them since all of you have experience on this and not to be time consuming with this, but we're continuing to the guidelines. Guidelines for filling out Annex 2 budget of the project. So the maximum is 8,000 euros. The project duration, as we explained, will be minimum 6 months and the maximum of 12 months. Amounts should be expressed in euros. The budget categories must be sent in order to implement planned activities in the application form. We are so sorry. If you need to add your own budget categories, items, you can do that by adding rows. In each added row, the same formula should be copied. Guidelines for filling Annex 2 are already being provided in the information session. For the financial performance of the project, the financial rules of the European Union apply. For more information, we have put the source where which you can find detailed financial. While preparing the budget, please keep in mind that funds for this grant are not subject to VAT. So every project activity should have the VAT exemption, and since the tax administration of Kosovo already asked with the, and it's also available online with the public explanation that CSOs are not subject to VAT. So like a general remark, please conduct a calculation check of the budget before submitting. If all is clear with this, we can continue to Annex 3. Do we have any questions on the budget? Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, Annex 3 should be completed in the English language since of our international selection committee. Here's the same as in Annex 1, so title, duration, goal, target group, scope, main activities, results, and the budget in euros. So please keep in mind that this should not be more than 1 page long, and it should only be completed in English language, even if your proposal is in Albanian. This should be completed in English. We can stop sharing the screen. So if you have any questions, we'll do a round of Q&As. Feel free to interact and ask for clarifications when needed. Okay, if there are any questions, I,
Yes,
okay.
Emma.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I had a question in relation to the language in which the annexes should be filled. Can all the annexes be filled in English, or Annex 1 and 2 in Albanian, and then the third, which is Annex 3 in English, or is there any strict rule to that?
Should in Albanian, but Annex 3 has to be completed in English. But you can also complete them all in English if that suits you. But Annex 3 should be, it's mandatory to be completed in English. Is it clear?
Okay.
Do we have
You're muted, Emma.
Sorry. So as a final remark, the deadline for sending the application is the 1st of November. The deadline for submitting questions to our project and grant manager is the 1st of October, and answers will be provided in our website by the 15th of October. And also, please include local citizens consultations in your activities because this is mandatory. You can find all the annexes and all the documents needed in our PAR monitor. And I will also send you after this meeting a list with the key main points, what you focus. And have a nice day, and thank you all for